It is not our desire to destroy this image that Governor Sanders has built, but to see to it that it is a true and authentic image throughout the state of Georgia and not just in the Atlanta area. Our first massive united invasion upon segregation in Georgia will take place in America's Georgia in the form of massive nonviolent street protests, demonstrations, unless there can be an immediate meeting of the minds and an acceptable settlement of Sumter County's racial problems. The mild, nonviolent protest demonstrations now being carried out in Sumter County, Georgia, will be stepped up to our maximum potential beginning with a march Tuesday night, July the 27th, after an 8 p.m. mass meeting, which will end in an all-night and all-day vigil around the Sumter County Courthouse. At this moment, we have agreed to stay in the streets and not leave the streets and stay and hold a vigil right there until we are gassed away again. And if we're gassed, we'll return as soon as the gas dies down. And until we are beaten or carried bodily, we'll remain out in the streets all day and all night vigils until we're allowed to proceed with what we consider a constitutional march. Honestly, that frightened me this morning. Our staff, as you know, is in Chicago. And I was called last night, and one of the local Negroes said, "I'm afraid someone is in here stirring up trouble." And I wanted to know, what do you mean by this? And he said that it has been said publicly that the police department, the county and city, would not offer any protection for us, from anyone, if we attempted to march or if we marched. And many of the Negroes are being told around here that if they won't protect us, then we'll have to get guns and protect ourselves. Because of the number of beatings and harassment and intimidations of scope workers yesterday, I could not leave this morning. So we sent our field secretary down, Golden Franks, the field secretary of North Carolina, that we would have some moral support, and Golden is a good man in handling large crowds, and particularly preaching nonviolence and these real crucial moments. So there's a possibility. I'm certain that no one was shot. It was not any worse than it was. You know, this gas would have you sick a couple of days. But I was a little afraid when this happened.
Hosea,
Well, at this moment, I will take the action that the local Negro community would like to
go conceivably from Chicago to Greensboro.
I can say to Alabama, if things get bad enough, Dr. King will come. We can always count on Dr. King.
Dr. King has called for.
Ladies and gentlemen of the press, the Negro citizens of Sumter County, Georgia, the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, and the Southern Christian Leadership Conference have united their forces in an effort to mobilize the goodwill forces of Georgia to combat the mounting beatings, jailings, and economical reprisals now being waged against voter registration participants in South and Southwest Georgia. Many Selma Alabamas in Georgia, and not just in Georgia alone, but in other southern regions. We ourselves have no reasons to try to destroy this image, but we are interested in projecting the true image of all of these hamlets and Georgia towns. We wish not to turn sentiment against the state of Georgia, sentiment of the goodwill forces that are now against the state of Alabama. But we can no longer sit idle by, getting bogged down in the paralysis of the analysis of the problems of these various counties. We have united our forces to do whatever is necessary to bring about justice here and now, even in the deepest black belt of Georgia. Number one, the voiding and rescheduling of last week's unconstitutional city election for justice of peace because of the segregated voting procedures and illegal arrest of the Negro candidate and 3 of her supporters. Number two, that Mrs. Bell and her 3 supporters, Mrs. Mamie Pleasant, Campbell, Mrs. Gloria Ann Wise, Miss Lena Turner, be released without bond immediately and all charges dropped. Number 3, that all American citizens in Americas and Sumter County be protected by the Americas and Sumter County law enforcement officers in the exercising of their constitutional rights. That the Board of Registers of Sumter County make the books available to all citizens on an equal basis by having or appointing at least one Negro registrar or clerk, making the books available for registration from 5 p.m. every afternoon until 9 p.m. and on Saturdays, and eliminating all record keeping of voting techniques or procedures in respect to race, creed, color, national origin of previous servitude, that a 14 biracial committee be set up, 7 white and 7 Negroes, to work on future racial problems of Sumter County and Americus, Georgia, and that the Negro people be allowed to appoint, elect, or name their 7 members in a public meeting. Upon the fulfillment of the above demands, mounting nonviolent protest street demonstrations will be halted for a sufficient period of time to allow the biracial committee an air of tranquility and time for an effective result.
Reverend Campbell,
What specific voting problems or registration problems are the Negroes facing in Sumter County?
Harassment.
What problems are you facing?
Well, they're facing, being harassed. They're just afraid to go to the polls and register. They're afraid of the sheriff. They're afraid of mostly the power structures in the county, the courthouse, no protection, brutality when they get there. In fact, they're just afraid to go to the courthouse and register, attempt to register.
Are the polls closed are the registration areas closed to Negroes?
No, it's open for applicants. You can, when we take people there, they write their names down, and they have certain days which no one knows until you go up there and apply. What day that they will be registering that day. You go up there and apply one day to register. You file an app. Then they tell you to come back, or they'll send for you, or what have you. And when they send for you, when they send for you, you go up there, and if you pass, more, then you are registered, which you very seldom do. But the main problem is fear. They are afraid of the harassment, and they're just afraid. Fear is the main thing they're afraid of.
I really think